Okay, so the trailer for Destiny 2 has finally been released. Now, unfortunately, this wasn't a full-blown gameplay trailer, but instead a CGI trailer. But, that said, it did reveal a fair bit of information. Also, something else to take a note of is pre-orders have gone live on certain retailers, and it has actually been confirmed for PC. I will go through and talk about all the pre-order stuff at the end of this video, but initially I wanted to go through this trailer, break it down, go over a couple of bits, explain some of the things that I took away from this, and hopefully you guys will get just as excited for as I did. Also, if you do want to see this trailer in its full glory, I will stick a link in the description below to the actual Destiny post for this, so I'm not going to take away that hype for that, so you can see it in its glory, just this, nothing else with me talking over it and waffling or anything like that. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so let's break this down. So to start off with, we have a lovely scene of the Traveller who looks like he's been through one hell of a battle. I say he, might not be a he. And directly below him we have the Last City. Now this is in smoke and fire and just looks like it's been through a nice walk, so we know the Cabal have attacked the Last City. Also, we have these new looking Cabal ships. We've seen something very similar to these. These look a little bit like the drop ships that used to drop in the Cabal, but on a much larger scale. They're kind of a similar shape, and you'll see that later on in the video. So moving on, we end up seeing Zavala addressing the troops, as it were. And in the background, you can see, obviously, once again, we've got the Traveller. We've got the Last City, just literally a smoke screen behind the Last City. And the tower, and you can kind of just catch on this right hand side of the tower that it has been destroyed. Bannerfall at the top there has been, looks like it's on fire, and also then you have an array of different guardians ranging from Titans, Warlocks, Hunters, and also a possible Xur standing there right behind Zavala. So from here we move on from Zavala addressing the troops over to Cayde addressing the troops. Now, Cayde has a completely different approach for this, which is quite amusing, but once again, you can see that you've got the Last City's behind him, although it kind of looks like he's in a bit more of the city. He's actually, where Zavala looked like he was in the forest area outside of the walls, it looks like Cayde and Ikora are actually in the city with some of the Guardians that have managed to survive. So from there, we take a jump cut to the tower, where we actually kind of see a scene that we saw from the teaser, which is the main table being destroyed with Zavala and Cayde standing right next to it. And then we get to see some of the Cabal, and this is actually quite interesting because this is where we get to see some of the new Red Legion standard Cabal troops, one of which is carrying a new shield. And we get to see now that the shield kind of expands open, and you can kind of see that it's now this nice yellow energy sword. So it seems to be the Cabal of this solar thing going on, because you can also see in the background there that we've got a similar guy to the one we saw in the last trailer with the meat cleavery kind of solar swords that he's waving up in the air in the back there. What this scene also tells us is that my favourite subclass is back, and that is the Stormcaller for the Warlocks. Granted, this isn't necessarily going to be the same as it was in Destiny 1. It's very more than likely had a rework, but the fact that we get to see Ikora here dealing storm energy damage from a melee attack kind of does make me hope that Stormcaller is back, because it was my favourite subclass in Destiny for playing as a main Warlock. So next up, we get to see a new enemy type in Destiny 2. So up until now, Destiny's pretty much mostly been bipedal enemies, apart from the odd thing like the walkers. But now we actually have this new four-legged beast, and it kind of looks a little bit like a dog. It's got what possibly like metal claws, it's got a metal jaw and a metal pointed like helmet to cover its head, and very sharp looking teeth, but also some really interesting red scales, which I will come back to in a second. Now, I have a lot of hopes for this, because in the introduction of the Rise of Iron, we had the wolves appear, and actually the mechanic they have for walking around is really quite well mapped, and the kinematics in that are just immense. So I'm hoping that these have a similar thing when they're not being in attack mode, that they're going to be kind of walking around and kind of turning on themselves. And like I said, in Destiny with the wolves, that just looks so cool. But something else to take away from these is these beasts aren't just a weapon for the Cabal. They are a source of clothing. If I rewind the video a little bit and take us back to that beast that breaks through the wall and attacks Ikora with the meat cleavers, you can clearly see down his arms he has this same red scaling that we've seen in this four-legged beast. So I'm curious what other things we're going to get to see like that in Destiny 2. More destruction that follows, along with Cade's toys, which in this case is the Vanguard Armory, which is the gunsmith's little baby in the tower. So obviously the tower's been destroyed. That means that all of the gunsmith's weapons have gone with it in the rubble. The next cool scene we get to see in this clip is actually of a Guardian ship, or I'm assuming it's a Guardian ship, attacking the Cabal fleet. Now, up until today, we've never really had much to do with the ships in Destiny. They've been used for loading screens and waiting screens when you're in the middle of changing things and going off to do different missions. But I'm really hoping that we get to actually... It would be nice, should I say, to actually play a scene in the ship. It's not like Bungie have not done this before. They did actually, once in Halo Reach, did they do a scene in space using the Seraph, I think they were called, ships. And actually, considering Bungie have always been primarily a FPS development team, that very first use of spaceship mechanics that they did was just absolutely awesome. And even back then, everybody wished there was more of it. And actually, when I first saw ships in Destiny, I was kind of hoping we'd have a lead on from that. So here's hoping that in Destiny 2, we actually get to see some of those mechanics come back from Bungie and make it into the actual game. Last thing we actually get to see in this trailer is Garl. So this is the Red Legion's leader. He is going to be our main foe going forward in Destiny 2, and he looks badass. This is all we get to see of him in this trailer, which is a bit of a shame, but he just looks so beasty. The thing is, you can't even get the idea of scale from this image. He could be quite large and you would never know. But the scene for this entrance into this is quite funny. She got Cade trying to remember this guy's name, and actually he lists about 3 names beginning with G because he can't remember Garl. And I think it's the last name he says is actually my name, which is quite cool, which is Glenn. And he said, oh, whatever it is, it begins with G. So yeah, this is Garl, our new foe for Destiny 2. So that's everything I picked up from this new trailer for Destiny 2. I am really looking forward to this. The other thing as well that I wanted to mention in this video is there is going to be a beta in the summer. They haven't said when. There is going to be a gameplay trailer coming out on March the 18th. I'm not sure if that's going to be a live stream or if that's actually a trailer, but there's going to be gameplay video coming out on March the 18th. So put that date in your diaries. I definitely will be. Also, there are pre-orders available at the moment, so be sure to go do that if you want to get early access to the beta. The beta will be available to everybody at one point or another, and obviously the key other thing is Destiny 2 is finally been revealed as a PC release thanks to the pre-orders. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, then hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, you know where that is as well. All importantly though, if you did like the content and you want to be kept up to date with more Destiny 2 news, then do hit that subscribe button. But as always, I've been Lord Nikon, this has been Gaming Defect, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.